So we're at the tail end of July. We're just about at August, and I'm sure many of you are wondering, well, what can I plant in my garden? What can I plant in my garden in my empty spaces? Maybe you harvested garlic just like I did, so we have a lot of empty space over here in these beds. And I'm going to talk about that today. What seeds can we get in the ground today that have enough time to produce some kind of food for us? They'll make the most out of the beds that we have. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is beets. Beets have plenty of time to finish off, about 60 or so days to come to harvest. I actually still have some beets in these beds, so I'm going to pull these beets now. Now, some of these are not very big. I mean, we've had some really odd weather this year, so it's kind of been a little sus, but it's looking pretty good. This is the bull's blood beet. I get a lot of my seeds from Incredible Seeds here in Canada. Not all of them are very large, but we'll take what we can get here. So we're gonna pull our beets out first, what we currently have for harvest, and then we're gonna plant and sow another set of beets. And I have 3 different types of beets I'm gonna get down here today, and I think I can fit 3 rows pretty comfortably in this area. So I'm gonna do that now. And straw is just a great way to retain moisture. And if you're planting a new set of seeds, it's really important at that point, unless you want to be out here watering quite a lot, especially when you're planting in the summertime when the sun can really dry out the tops of your beds. I mean, not that the weather hasn't been pretty wild this year, but this is a good way so that when I water this in, that I know that a lot of that water is going to stay in here. Yeah, I'm still going to get a couple of seeds and whatnot that are going to possibly sprout, but I'd still say that it's the lesser of two evils to have this. And this is relatively inexpensive where I'm at. So the next crop that we're going to talk about are radishes. Radishes are another great crop to plant in August. Again, I mean, some of these things only take, it looks like 30 days for them to come up. So you might even be able to get 2 sowings of radishes. So great turnaround on radishes. Now, again, I have some beets that are left in these beds. So I'm just going to pull these beets and create a little bit of space, get what we can out of our garden, and then start making use of the bed. Again, I had a whole bunch of garlic in here just a week ago, so now we have a little bit of free space, and we're going to plant. All right, so I'm gonna get my lines out here. I'm gonna do 4 rows of it. I'm still gonna have a little bit of the bed left over, but we'll find something else to plant in this area. So we're gonna just start with the radishes. So I'll get my lines going. And it looks like I have a little bit of space right in here. So I might actually do something like a lettuce in this little area here. So just keeping that area open and free for something else. We're gonna do some lady slipper here, some German giant here, some champion here, and oh, more lady slipper. Interesting. I thought I had 4 different varieties, but it turns out I only have 3, but that's okay. I love the lady slipper radish, so having some extra of those is probably not a terrible idea for me.
These ancient ruins are something to believe in. There's crumbling limestone reflected in your eyes when the photographs get old, when the sun turns cold. Come visit me.
Some of you might be wondering as well is when we put the straw down, do the plants have a hard time getting through it? And in my experience, not at all. Carrots get through it, everything, literally everything I plant, I do this, and I don't really have any issues. Whether or not it's hindering some sort of growth is, you know, perhaps there is a situation like that, but in my experience, I think things work really, really well like this, and especially when I'm seeding, direct sowing, and I direct sow quite a lot. I find that that the moisture retention is infinitely more important for the germination rate than the straw is preventing a plant from coming up and showing itself. So the next crop that's not too late to sow are lettuce. So we're gonna plant 4 different varieties of lettuce. We have some romaine, some bronze arrow, some Yugoslavian red, and some bib lettuce. So right around where the radishes were planted, we have a little bit of space on either side here. So that's where we're going to plant these seeds. And with these small seeds, I usually put a little bit in there. I don't plant them too deep. I just enough to cover them, and then I get the straw over that. Actually, over here, I'm gonna do two little rows here. And aside from, I mean, lettuce, you can do spinach, you can do kale, which I am gonna sow a kale today as well, right in this bed.
These drunken poets are something to believe in.
So we're gonna do some red Russian kale. Right over here. And the kale, what's great about this is that it's gonna grow well into the winter time. So even when there's snow on the ground. Then we'll hit this with a little bit more water, and this bed is ready for fall. All right, the 4th crop that I recommend are beans. Now, bush or pole beans will work. In my case, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of both. And forgive me, this is a bit of a new bed. We used to have a bunch of flowers in here, a lot of weeds are growing in. I've been doing my best to mulch it and put compost down. It's still, the soil is still very, very dense, but I have grown successfully some peas and beans in this bed already this year. So I'm just gonna continue to put down, like I said. And then what we'll do as well is we're gonna heavy mulch, and that should help suppress some of these weeds. But don't worry, the beans are not gonna have really a problem getting through here. And if you're still watching at this point, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. In this case, we're going to grow some Blue Lake pole beans. And I'm actually going to put 2 in each one just to increase my chances. And then if both of them happen to pop out, then I will just thin those out. And then for the bush beans, because I have a little bit more space, I'm just going to create a couple little indents here. For bush beans, at least the variety I'm growing, we want about 4 inches of space or so. I'm not too picky on it, let's say. And I think I'm going to be pretty happy. And the bush beans I'm growing are Cherokee wax. I'm sorry for my dirty hands. Part of the job.
Gets low when the flowers won't grow. Come visit me. These forbidden fruits are something to believe in.
So last thing we're going to plant today, I actually have two different whiskey barrels here that I'm going to plant into, are zucchini. It's another one that has enough time to make it to the end and produce some fruit for you, pending that you plant it in late July or sometime early in August. So I'm going to plant some Black Beauty in this one and some Cocozel in the other one. But that's not to say there's not more things that you can grow. Again, we're talking lettuce. Some people put carrots in the ground at this time. Cauliflower is another one. Arugula, spinach, like I had mentioned. Pretty well any type of leafy green will produce. And I definitely recommend, do not get deterred. Do not let the bad weather, the poor crops, the failed experiments deter you. Get out in August early and get some seeds in the ground. You're going to be really happy come September, October that you did that. And I'll put a few seeds down. I think I have enough straw here for now, so I'll just leave what I have here. We'll water it in, and that's it. And again, if you're this far along in the video, please like, please subscribe. It's going to help a lot. Embarrassingly, I have not made it to 100 subscribers yet, so any help that you can give me would be much appreciated. Now let's water these in and send you home. Thanks for watching.